Guys, welcome back to Love Letters to Broadway, where we give you Broadway tips, tricks, and share our adventures. My name is Skylar,
And my name's Michelle.
and welcome back to episode 6.
Yay!
So we always start every episode where we talk about our hyperfixation songs, and then we get into some Broadway news. And then today we're going to be reviewing Wicked.
Wicked!
Um,
A
so
classic.
Yeah, we just saw Wicked. Well, it was my first time in like 10 years, so we saw it again
Yeah, and it was
last
it was
week.
awesome. We got last minute tickets on SeatGeek.
Yeah, it was
Totally
really good
worth
to
it.
this. Yeah. So we're gonna review that and our take on it after not seeing it for like years and kind of the differences.
Yeah, for you it was like 10 years, and for
Yeah.
me, it was the last show I saw before COVID started. Like literally I saw it like maybe a week or two prior. So it's been
Yeah,
about 4 years for me too.
and definitely like felt different. So we'll talk about it.
Mhm.
So let's start with our hyperfixation songs. Michelle, you want to go first?
Sure. So just as a reminder, or for anyone who's first listening, we always go three, two, one for
Yep.
these.
It's like a build up to the big
Yeah,
shabam.
big shabamarama. Okay, number three.
Oh God.
Number three for me this week is from a TV show
Okay.
that was streaming on Paramount Plus, and then Paramount Plus decided to cancel it out of the blue, and
Hmm.
it pissed me off
Mad
because it
Men.
left me on a cliffhanger. And this song is from Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies, which a lot of you may be familiar with. It was a musical TV show, which was a prequel to Grease, and it
Hmm.
did star Jason Schmidt as Buddy, who is also in The Outsiders. And the song from the show that is my top three for the week is Pulling Strings, which was sung by Jason on the show. It is such a
Iconic.
good song.
Yeah, I remember when you told me about it, we were going into the city. So when I was
Mhm.
driving home after our adventure, I literally played it like 10 times on repeat. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is my new fave.
Well, it's just so moving. And like if you think about the
Yeah.
lyrics, they mean so much. Like I don't know, I just feel like I really connect
You
to the
connected.
song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like forget about the fact that it's like Jason, because now everyone,
Yeah.
since Outsiders especially, it's been,
Yeah.
all Jason. But I just feel like it's such a good song, and the character's storyline and the direction of their life, like I just connected with it. So
It's a good one.
thank you. So that's number three.
Perfect.
Number two for the week, we are back to the kids' movies.
Oh, I was getting a little afraid that we wouldn't be back to that. Because last
Yes.
week you weren't. And I was like,
Last
dang,
week I
Michelle,
was.
you good? You feeling okay?
You know I'm having a good week if I have a kid song on here. If I don't, then
Exactly.
I'm having a bad week.
Iconic.
Um, but number two is not a cartoon.
Oh,
It is from the new Descendants movie, The
I
Rise of
want to
Red.
watch that.
It's so good.
I
Well,
gotta watch it.
hold on. Let me take that back for a second. It's a great movie. I like the music, but the storyline, a lot of it doesn't make sense.
Hmm.
And the ending just kind of like comes out of nowhere. Like it's very rushed.
Well, what's the guy that plays Hook? What's his name?
I think Joshua Colley. He's from Broadway.
Yeah.
He was one of the original Lesses in Newsies.
So, yes, and he was Gavroche. When he was
Oh.
really small, because I just listened to him on Trisha Paytas's podcast. You gotta listen. They talked all things Broadway and iconic.
Mhm.
And he
Yeah,
sang with her. They sang
oh, that's so
together.
cool.
Iconic. I love them.
He in particular is extremely talented.
Oh my God, yeah.
Very like he has a huge range. But yeah, so number two is the song Perfect Revenge from the
Okay.
Descendants movie.
I'll have to
And it's
listen to
actually
it.
sung by all the villain kids. So he's one of the people who sing the song. And it's just like it's just very like funky but like rockish at the same time. And it's
Hmm.
like great dance break. Like
Just
I like
jam.
it. I jam. It's
Yeah.
a jam. It's a good song to work out to.
Okay. Like we said on our Instagram, I put Defying Gravity. Somebody put Man Up from Book of Mormon, which I think was funny.
That's a good one. Wait, but how do
Yeah.
you work out to defying gravity?
Well, when you're running and the break comes, it's just like what the fuck?
Uh,
You know what I mean? Iconic. I
the
always listen to
ending.
it. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
because I was thinking about that the other day because I saw you posted that and I was thinking like, how do you run to the beginning of it?
I mean, it's like you start walking and then you start jogging and then you just go all out.
The
It's like a
build
slow build
up.
up. Yeah.
Okay, so then that brings us to number one.
Ooh,
Number one, we are back in the Broadway realm.
thank God.
Number one is Tulsa 67 from The Outsiders.
Always outsiders.
I've gotten very into it this week,
Yeah.
specifically the part near the beginning of the show. No, I mean near the beginning of the song where Brody's like, "Da-na-na, da-na-na, I'm talking to you."
Yeah. His
Yeah,
his voice is unreal.
unreal.
Unreal. The national anthem, unreal.
Oh yeah, that well, speaking of Broadway news, that happened this week. Brody sang the national anthem at the Mets game.
I said suddenly I'm a Mets fan.
And I was like, well, welcome
Suddenly
to
I
the
like
club.
baseball. Suddenly,
No, he was outstanding on the national
oh
anthem. Like
my
there was not a
God.
note off of place, like out of place.
His voice, like unreal. Need to see
Unreal.
him live. And
Yeah. I mean,
like I feel
I
like
love. Yeah. No, go ahead.
no, I just feel like it's the same as when you listen to it, it would just be a carbon copy of live.
I think so too. And like, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not happy that we've seen Trevor
Yeah.
multiple times. I am. He's fantastic too. But I just feel like I'm curious to see the differences now between him and Brody. And I do kind of want to see the person who originated the role.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like we saw Josh as Johnny, and then we saw Sky as Johnny, and that was cool to kind of see the differences and how they take the character. So I'd
Mhm.
be curious. It's like the same thing as seeing Dan as Soda Pop.
Yeah.
Like that's interesting too to see how he does the role, or Victor as Derry. Like it's interesting to see how different people take on the role because they don't all play them the same.
Yeah,
So
it's
cool.
very true. Like even the most recent time we saw the show, Melody was out and we saw Maggie
Yeah.
on as Bev, and she played the
She
role very differently.
Yeah, even like that too. That was interesting. And it gives you a different view of the story, which I thought was
Yeah.
cool. Very cool.
Yeah. I kind of hope we start seeing like some more understudies actually. Besides Brody, I want to see him as Pony Boy.
He was
But
out again last night.
oh really?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like he's out very often. It's like how do you time when he's going to be in?
And how do you
Um
remember the show? I'd be stressed. I
yeah.
feel
I
like,
mean,
how am I gonna remember?
hopefully, like for his sake, he's working on like other projects or something, which makes it worth it. But
Hopefully he's working on Heathers.
oh, well, yeah. If any of you are, are following us out there, I'm assuming you are. Like, you probably saw our Dreamcast that we put together for Heather's with Brody
Yeah.
as JD.
Oh my God. Like, I can't.
It would be iconic.
That would be sick. So maybe that's what he's doing. In my head, I like to think that that's what's happening.
Oh my God, I wish.
Right.
Okay, so Skylar, what are your songs?
Okay, so mine changed because
Really?
to bring up Heathers, I've been obsessed with the West End recording of Heathers, specifically
Hmm.
Jamie and his JD.
His
But we'll get
JD
there.
is outstanding.
I can't. So number three, I've been listening to Dead Girl Walking, the West End version. She does such an incredible job. Carrie, how do you say her last
Carrie,
name?
Carrie Hope Fletcher.
Thank you. I'm not very good at I could read names, but saying it, not good at it. I've been obsessed with her take on Veronica. Um, so I've been listening to Dead Girl Walking, and her voice is just outstanding. And even
Yeah.
like when JD comes in and he goes, "That works for me," whoop, like the way he does that too, it's so funny. So I've been listening to that like nonstop. Um,
Yeah,
just iconic.
it's a great take of the song. I was thinking about it recently. I kind of wish that when Bad Cinderella made its West End change to Broadway or whatever it's called, when it
Yeah,
came over here, I wish that they had her come along with the
they
show
should.
because I think it would have maybe done a little bit better than it did.
Yeah, she's incredible.
Her voice is gorgeous and she has like the best belt
Yeah, and she could do
and
any character. Like she was
anything.
literally Veronica. That like amazing.
And I do like that she's a little bit more of like a curvy girl, like curvy girl representation. Like I just find her to
Yeah,
be very inspirational. So I wish
yeah,
that she came along with the show.
yeah,
Or
definitely.
who knows, maybe she'll come along with Heather's.
That would be sick. That would be sick. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe they both come. I want Brody, but if he came, oof, I
You'd be gone. You'd be a goner.
I'm gonna be goner. So that was number three. Number two, I'm back on the Hadestown train of
Mm.
promises. I don't know. I'm feeling very lovey-dovey, I guess, this week. But I just love that song. I think it's just like we've definitely talked about it because it's definitely been on my list. But I just feel like it just shows how Orpheus like just absolutely loves Eurydice and that although he has nothing, he could promise her a full life of just happiness. He doesn't have money, he doesn't have a ring, but he could
Yeah.
promise that.
Yeah.
So it's just
Beautiful
a
song.
beautiful song. Um, and then my number one, we've been talking about it a little bit, but Meant to Be Yours. But the West End version, because like I can't stop listening to it. Just the way Jamie took JD and like even like the little like ways he says things in that song really made it. And I've just been obsessed with, especially when he goes into like the like breakdown, like
Mhm.
you were meant to be mine, like his like
Mhm.
the way he almost screams it, but not really.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, like
He gets into it and like I don't know if it was his personal choice, if it was a
yeah,
directing choice, the West End version, because it is very different than the
yep.
version that was off Broadway. I don't know, I mean, I feel like there are probably gonna be a lot of people out there who disagree with me when I say this, but I kind of hope that the version that's gonna open here is the West End
Oh,
version.
I hope so too. And I hope they put the I Say No song in because I've
I
been listening
love
to
that
that.
song. I
It's
love
such a
that one.
perfect song.
Yeah, I love that one, and I also love I Will Never Shut Up Again.
Yeah,
I love that one. And I feel like Heather needed that song
it
in the
needed
show.
yeah, it definitely made the story. I mean, I haven't seen it, the West End version. I've just been listening to the album, but just from
Yeah.
listening to it, it really made it full. And I think that's
Hmm.
what Heather's needed instead of like when it was here, it missed something, and that's why it didn't succeed as well. So
I
I'm really
agree.
hoping that they do that because I think if they do that, they'll have a long run. Everybody's gonna
I
be dying to see it. I mean, I'm dying to see it no matter what,
Well, me
but
too. I 100% agree. The only song from the West End that I hope they switch back to the off-Broadway version is the song from Kurt and Ram sing. Like in the West End they sing You're Welcome and in the
oh
off-Broadway version
yeah.
they sing Blue. I think Blue
Yeah,
is a better song personally because
yeah,
it sounds a little bit, the whole scene theoretically is that they almost want to like rape Veronica, like they want her
yeah.
to do a three-way
Hmm.
and I feel like Blue conveys that a little bit more and how they're so like desperate and like
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, I just feel
Yeah,
like
I
You're
can see
Welcome
that.
just sounds like a stupid jock song in a way.
Yeah. I really hope they do it justice. I just like can't stop like rewinding Meant to Be Yours. Like and it's
Yeah.
specifically like that part, don't know why. But he just like 10 out of 10. Incredible. Did that amazingly. Can't
Great.
stop. I definitely posted it on Instagram this week. I was like, Happy Friday, this is my new obsession.
I remember seeing that.
Oh no, I did Monday. I was like, weird song to start the week, but
Oh
happy
yeah,
Monday.
yeah.
Yeah, because I'm obsessed.
It's so
And it's a good
good.
obsession. But yeah, so those are my three.
Awesome. I think those are a good three. I think we both have a
Yeah,
good three this
we had
week.
a good week. Good
Good
week.
week. So I guess we should start getting into Broadway news.
Yeah,
So starting with the Broadway flea market, when this
so
episode comes
excited.
out, it will be the day of the flea market.
Yeah,
So we were thinking maybe we could do like a little update as to where auction prices are at.
yeah.
Um, yeah, if you listen to the last podcast, they were the
They're
silent auction
crazy.
prices were a little nuts.
We were looking for what we could afford, and I think it was like a playbill from the network because it was like $25.
Yeah, that was like it. Hold on, let me see. Where I thought I had the pricing up. I have the pricing up for like what's on the live auctions.
Hmm.
Like I see, for example, they have the ultimate Les Miserable. Why did I say it like that? Les Mis Miserable treasure. The show's original only crucifix. Like that's $500.
Yeah,
Let's see what else. Looks like everything for like all of the in-person live auctions, the opening prices are $500. Like they have See Romeo and Juliet, Meet Kit Connor, Rachel Zegler.
yeah.
Um, go to an exclusive Wicked Part 1 movie screening.
Oh wow.
Um, so they have some cool things on the live auctions. I'm trying to find on the Broadway Flea Market website the virtual auction that
But
we
if you
had
like,
last week.
if you win it, like, do you get it at the flea market or do they like mail it to you? Like Daniel Radcliffe sneakers or stuff like that,
Uh, that I'm actually not sure
right?
about.
And did you see they're auctioning off Aaron Tveit bloody shirt from Sweeney Todd? I was like, I don't want that. That's gross.
You're joking me.
Like literally.
I mean, well, listen, I mean, I guess there are some people out there who would want that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I don't know. I saw like a TikTok on all this stuff being auctioned, and I saw his shoes, which I thought was cool because he wrote like "Merrily We Roll Along" on the shoe, and then
mhm.
signed it. I saw Aaron Tveit, and I think they're. I saw glasses, so I just assumed that's Little Shop, but I wasn't sure.
Oh, maybe it is.
That would make sense, but I wonder whose glasses.
Hmm. Oh, I wonder if the silent auctions online have stopped. I see a silent auction book now
Oh.
where it's like it compiles like which lot numbers are going to be like announced. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, it is. So they sent out a schedule now. It's on their website of which lots are going to be announced at which time. And it says every half hour, new items go up for auction. Today's bidding begins with the highest offer from online pre-bidding.
Um, okay.
So there's no more online bidding for these items, but like some of the items included like the Notebook opening night playbill,
Okay.
Pippin vocal score signed by Steven Schwartz. Like that's really cool.
Wow.
Um, let's see what else is on here. Goodnight Oscar 2023 Tony Award fabric wall piece. Ben Platt live at the Palace Pride playbill.
Ooh.
Um, The Shark is Broken, Jaws inspired sneakers signed by Alex Brightman, Colin Donnell, and Ian Shaw.
Oh wow.
A quilt from The Lion King made of fabric pieces worn
Oh
on
my God.
stage. Oh, you were right.
That's
The
cool.
glasses are on here. They're from Little Shop,
There you
worn and signed by Corbin Blue.
go. Iconic.
Let's see what else is on here. I wonder who's gonna end up winning all of these.
I wish they would post. I'm curious.
Yeah, like I want to know what they ended up actually being sold for. Like maybe we need to go and like watch when they start announcing these.
Yeah, right?
Um, some of these are crazy. Back to the Future, the musical script, Wicked 20th anniversary poster. Ooh, The Outsiders opening night playbill signed by the original cast. That
Wow.
probably went for a lot because people are really into that right now.
I keep seeing people selling the playbills. I guess they get it
Yeah.
signed and sell it, but like, I can't. I want to
Yeah.
keep all of them.
Me too, but It bothers me when people go and get playbill
That makes
signed
me
just to
mad.
sell it.
Oh, actually, this is a complete 180, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But back to Carrie Fletcher, right? Is that
Carrie
right?
Hope Fletcher, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. She posted on TikTok, if you follow her, rules that she thinks should be a thing for theater. And she said for stage doors, she feels like you have to show your ticket that you are there for the show to stage door.
Interesting.
Yeah, she made a whole list of things. And I saw that. I was like, huh. She was like talking out. I guess on West End, they're having issues at stage doors like here.
Interesting. I don't know if I necessarily hmm. I don't know if I agree with that because sometimes
Yeah, I
people
don't
can't
know.
afford to see the show, but they still want to meet the actors.
Yeah,
But at the same time, I understand the benefit of being like, hey, did you actually see this tonight? Or are you just
yeah.
here?
It's definitely something to discuss, like in a different maybe
Yeah.
podcast. But I just randomly popped in my head because I was like, oh, that's interesting that an actor is talking out about it.
I
But
feel like actors more and more are talking out about it now. Like even this past week, Jordan Fisher came out the stage door for
shocking.
the first time in a long time, but he only came out because it was supposed to be his original exit date.
Yeah,
So he knew fans had bought tickets specifically to see him that night.
yeah. I think
Um,
the last time he came out was in like when he was in Hamilton. I don't think he's come out at all for Hades Town.
really?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I could be lying. Not sure. But that's the one person I would love to meet. I would love to go up to him because Hades Town, like, really, like, I mean, we're obsessed. At least I'm like obsessed with it,
Well,
and
I
like,
mean,
and
if
I
you
think I
want,
got in you of
you
this.
have. But listen, if you want to meet him, we could at the flea market. I'm looking at if we end up going to the flea market, I'm looking at the autograph table and booths and stuff. He
Yeah.
is on a panel. He's going to be there between 12 to 1 o'clock. And also I was looking at the prices for the autograph booth. So autographs are a minimum $30 donation each hour for all the performers in that hour. Photos, it says the prices vary based on the number of requests per performer, but it's a minimum $20 donation.
That's not
So
bad.
yeah, it's not as bad at all as I thought it was going to be. And
Yeah, we were
also,
thinking like 100.
oh yeah, I thought it was going to be 100 or more. And also he's there during a good hour. So at the same time it's Jordan Fisher, it's Sky Lakota Lynch, Jason
Love
Schmidt,
him.
Kyle Selig, um Paul Alexander Nolan, Andrea Martin, Alyssa Milano.
Dang.
It's a good hour.
So do you wait on, so I've never done this. Have you done it? Do you have to wait on a long
No.
line?
I've never done it myself, but I've seen it. It is a very long line. You really lose the full hour
So we
from
would
the
have
flea
to
market.
probably get online first and then hopefully be like the first couple and then maybe,
Yeah. But
but we
also
do
but also it's
lose.
important to keep in mind that you don't really get it. It's not like you're meeting them at a stage door where you can sit and
Yeah, you
chat
don't
for a
get to
minute.
talk.
Yeah, you're literally just going up, getting an autograph, and that's it. And I think you need to have something with you for them to autograph. I don't think they give you anything.
Oh, okay, we gotta talk about that later. Because maybe
Yeah.
we just bring stuff just in case, but then we have to carry it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
we gotta
that's
think
if
about it.
we end up going. But
Yeah. He's the one
uh
person though, like genuinely, I would maybe write something and hand it to him and be like, please read this. Because like Hades Town really like I don't know what about it, but like
mhm.
really I can't stop.
Well, I mean, if you really wanted to meet him, maybe you go online and I can film you going through it, from the floor.
But you're like my vlogger, personal like
Personal
reality
vlogger
TV.
entourage. Imagine.
That would be funny. That would be funny.
So what are some other Broadway news that
Oh yeah,
happened
we
this
got
week?
sidetracked. Sorry. Elf on Broadway got announced. I'm so
Yay!
excited.
I cannot wait. And Gray Henson is playing Buddy.
Oh my God. We have to buy tickets like ASAP. But I'm
Yeah,
so excited. I think he's gonna do such a great job. Like
me too.
genuinely.
That is a show that I'd be willing to pay regular price for. I really want to see Elf.
Yeah. So like
And
the nostalgia of it too. Like I
yeah,
can't. I'm
Elf
so
is one of
excited.
Skylar's like favorite Christmas movies of all time.
Oh
So that
yeah.
alone, like we really gotta go.
Every year, so I'm a teacher. I'll probably post pictures if you guys are curious of my classroom during Christmas time because I go crazy. But the one thing is, there's a book that's Buddy the Elf, and it's like a children's book. Like they made
Oh,
it into a children's version.
oh, I didn't
So
know
I'll
that.
read that, and then we make Buddy's spaghetti. So we make like a craft. I'd use like string to make the spaghetti, and then we do the chocolate syrup. We use paint, and we do all that. But it's like one of my favorite.
I just had an idea.
What?
You should have the kids do it and bring one, like have the kids like sign it or something and bring one for Gray at the stage door.
Oh, that'd be so cute. Okay, that's a great idea.
Oh, that would be adorable.
And then I could go and be like, look, I met Buddy the Elf.
Oh my God, they would freak out if he like filmed it, if he like filmed a video of him, be like, it's look, it's Buddy.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cute.
Ideas are forming. Ideas are
There we
forming.
go. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Me and my uncle saw it when I was young, and now it's just like every year we text each other when we're watching it for the first Christmas.
Hmm.
So I'm so excited. I have a bunch
Yeah.
of shirts too that I could wear.
You know, it's always interesting, like families have like the movies that are like important to them. Like for you and
Yeah.
your uncle, it's Elf. Like, but like it just reminded me of me and my dad. Like our movie is during Halloween. It's always Hocus Pocus. Like we always have to message each other when it's on TV or when we're watching it, or we try to watch it
I
together at
love
least
it.
once a year.
I love it. So I'm doing my classroom door is going to be the Sanderson sisters, and it's going to say, I smell children. I'm going to put their faces in the bubbles. I was like, is this too far? Is this too scary? I was like, whatever. It's not that scary.
And they won't know the difference.
They'll be fine. And I have a bunch of earrings. Yeah, that's a good one though. Love Hocus Pocus.
Great.
So I'm so excited. So Elf on Broadway, but also Moulin Rouge announced their new cast for when Aaron
Yeah.
and JoJo leave.
And when are they leaving? I think it's like October 13th or
Oh,
15th.
yeah, we gotta get there before.
I know. And Skylar in particular really wants to see Aaron. I've seen him, but she's
Yeah,
never saw him before.
so we gotta get there. But he's out all weekend, which is the weekend we're recording this. He's out, like, right? He's
Yeah.
out today, tomorrow.
Yeah, like almost the whole week, yeah.
Yeah, so we have to figure it out. So the new Christian is from the Notebook.
John Cardoza.
There we
But I
go.
think didn't he also do it on the tour?
Yeah, I think so, because I feel like I've seen like slime tutorial recordings.
Yeah.
Um, and he sounded great. I mean,
I
I
think
think
he'll
he'll do
be
a great
good.
job. I think it's a good replacement for Aaron. And
Yeah.
then Sola, is that you say her name?
Salia? I think
Oh
it's
my
Salia
God.
Pfeiffer.
I should literally take a class on names. She's gonna be the new Santine.
I don't know how I feel about her as Santine. I feel like I have to like maybe see clips before making my decision.
Yeah, me
I
too.
didn't love the Hades Town clips I saw. Like I'll be honest, and I hope people
Yeah, me
don't
too.
get angry at me about that.
I mean, we're just on again, we give our honest opinions. I'm a little nervous about it. I think um it's a harder score to sing too,
Yeah.
Mulan. And I feel like if Hades Town was iffy, I mean, I don't know. It
You
could
know,
be,
you know what it is to me, and I don't want this to come off the wrong way. Like I feel like when I picture Satine, I picture someone very like delicate, like feminine to the extreme because she's supposed to be able to like seduce men and stuff. And like
yeah,
I don't know if I picture that when I picture Celia Pfeiffer. Like I pictured her way more as Eurydice than I picture her as Satine.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I agree with that. I think we're definitely gonna have to wait for the like people recording to kind of hear. But I definitely didn't love her in Hades Town. But again, that's all just our opinion.
Yeah. Some other Broadway news. Sunset Boulevard. There was a clip released on TikTok this week of them trying to practice the intro and the opening,
That
and
was
like him
cool.
walking on the street. I am so excited for that show.
I'm excited too. But my thing is like every show he's gonna do that, right? It's gonna be live every
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, that's how they did it on the West End too.
So there's just gonna be random people walking in the street. They're just gonna see like someone
Yeah.
recording, singing.
Well, yeah, and I saw with the track that they made for him, like he crosses the street and everything, so they're gonna have to block traffic. So it's actually important to keep in mind, like if you're just trying to drive into the city, like avoid that street.
Oh yeah, are they gonna close the whole street? They can't do that for
Yeah,
every show, can they?
I think they may have to. He has to be able to cross. Either that or they're
Wow.
gonna stop the car, but I'm curious to see how that goes. Like I want to see the show itself, but I also want to go and just watch him do the track.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like if we're walking past it one day, just like stand there and just watch him.
Yeah, because I feel like
But
it's
how
gonna
does his
be
mic
great.
how does his mic pick up from outside of the theater? That's what I'm like.
I'm not 100% sure, but I've seen so many TikToks of them doing it on the West End, and it just like I don't know, he's so spot on every time, and the audio is supposed to be very crisp. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm excited. We
And
definitely
they
have to see it.
definitely have to see it. And they also released this week a music video of him singing Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
That actually just came out, I think like yesterday.
Hmm.
Because it was announced that the London cast recording is going to come out on the 25th of October.
Oh, iconic.
So I think they're
I
really trying
love
to time
when
everything out with like when the Broadway one's going to come out.
yeah, and I love when we get the London recording and Broadway. I love it. Because then we
Yeah,
can
me too.
compare.
Yeah, we need
It's really
to.
cool. Really cool. That's exciting. Do you know if there is a lottery? I don't know.
I'm assuming there will be. I feel like
There
every show at
definitely.
this point usually does a lottery.
Yeah, the only one. Yeah, I think everyone does.
The only show that really doesn't do a lottery like too often is Outsiders just because they're so sold out, like they
Oh
can't.
yeah. They do the in-person, which
Yeah,
we're not getting up at 5 a.m.
not happening. We like our
Nope.
sleep.
Yeah, no, that's a no for me. Then next, Oh Mary got extended to 2025, which is cool.
I'm happy about that because I want us to see it and we haven't had a
Yeah,
chance yet.
and now we have more time because all the new shows too are opening, so we gotta really like figure out our schedule
Yeah.
because we gotta see that. So that's exciting. Definitely something we keep entering the lottery, we keep losing. So I guess there's a lot of
Yeah.
hype for it, which is great.
Maybe
And
we have to be it has to be a SeatGeek show.
yeah, which we've gotten have really good luck with that. So yeah, that's exciting.
Also, they announced that Danny Burstein is going to be playing Herbie in Gypsy, opposite Audra McDonald as Rose, which I think
That's
is a
great.
great
It's a
combo.
great idea. That I'm so excited. I think it's gonna be absolutely incredible.
I hope he wins a Tony for that role. I feel like he could.
Yeah.
I've seen him a few times. I've seen him in Mulan. I saw him in Fiddler on the Roof, and he is just so
Wow.
versatile, and I just feel like he will do a really good job in the role.
Yeah, that was amazing. Like when I saw that, I was like, ah, perfect. There we go. Great casting. There's a lot of casting news this week.
Yeah, also, isn't Little Shop doing a new cast?
Yeah, they just announced their new cast, which we tried to guess. We failed miserably. I did not think it was gonna be these people. I thought Christopher Jackson when they put out that thing where it said he's not gonna throw away his shot. I was like, oh no, I thought Leslie Odom too,
Oh. So
because
who
it
wait,
had
so
to be
who
someone
so
for Hamlin.
so who is it?
Nicholas Christopher is gonna be Seymour.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, and Sherry Renee Scott is gonna be Audrey.
She's great. I saw her as Ursula in Little Mermaid, and also she was I don't remember the name of the character, but she was also in Aida, and her voice is gorgeous.
Yeah, she'll be good. I think my issue is I just loves Andrew
Mhm.
as Seymour because I feel like he captured the look, the voice, the acting, and all that. So going from that to now Nicholas, I said Nicholas Christopher,
Nicholas
right?
Christopher,
It's
yeah.
two first names. Um, it's gonna be interesting. I hope they put out like a video of them singing together.
Yeah, my concern is I think they're both, I don't want this to come
Oh,
off wrong. I think they're a little old, yeah.
that's the first thing I was like, oh,
I like it when it's a younger cast.
yeah, because it makes more sense to me. But I don't know. It's not something I'm not gonna be like, we have to go see Little Shop, if that makes
No.
sense.
I would actually rather go try to see Little Shop before Andrew leaves.
I literally entered lottery. I've lost. But yeah, definitely. I would see it again. He's so funny. But I will say I got a little annoyed. I was on TikTok this morning and I saw somebody like it was a great recording, like but like full like video and it was like perfect. I'm like, was she holding her phone like up the whole time? Like that's so
Hmm.
rude. It was like like the quality was amazing. And it was like I got annoyed when I saw it because I was like,
On
she obviously was holding her phone up.
If I saw someone do that, I would stop them or
And
go and tell an usher.
it was like a long clip of like the whole show, like clips of the whole show.
That
And it
irks
was
me.
like,
I love a slime tutorial as much as the next, but it also really bothers me at the same time.
I was very annoyed. And then she posted a thing after saying like trying because people were commenting they're like that's very rude what you did and she posted a thing saying that she like was holding her phone like hidden and she wasn't being rude and I was like girl you were being
Hmm.
rude you were
Yeah,
recording
how much?
something you weren't supposed to.
Yeah, that is being rude. Was there any other big Broadway news this week?
Well, two more just quick casting. Adam Lambert is in Cabaret.
Oh, yeah. I saw a video of her in what how do you pronounce it? Alali Crivallo?
I think so, yeah. And so they started in Cabaret. We want to go see that.
Yeah,
I'm
she
interested.
sounded great. I heard a video clip um, of her in the role, and I just thought she sounded phenomenal in comparison
Yeah.
to who we saw. And he also that they did release like a pro shop clip of him in the beginning of the show, and
Yeah.
he's great. I mean, it's interesting also to see the character choices. Like he wears makeup, and Eddie Redmayne didn't.
Yeah, I think I like it. I
I think I'm
like
gonna like
that
it more
better.
if we go see. You know, I was thinking about this. I think we need to like go now and see it with this cast before we do like a proper review on here because we really had a
Yeah,
hard time the first time seeing the show between, as you all have heard before, having drunk people around us and being in the back and like
yeah.
it was hard to understand. We had an understudy on and it was just we had
Yeah,
a
we'll
lot of
definitely be
things that
entering the
confused us.
lottery. Definitely.
Yeah. And any
And
other casting news this week?
last is just Hades Down, the Persephones. So you have Allison Russell coming in November 12th, and then you have Lana Jordan coming in from October 22nd to November 10th.
I don't know who either of them are.
Yeah, I don't know, but it should be good.
Yeah, I'm excited to see hopefully a new cast at some point. But at the same
Yeah,
time, I don't want to see another Orpheus. I like Jordan Fisher too
I don't
much.
think, and Eurydice, it's gonna be hard to see a different one because she
Yeah.
is amazing. But it's just, yeah. So that's all the casting. A lot of new cast coming out.
A lot of casts this week and also a lot of just like great Broadway news this week. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens on the week ahead. So now we're going to get into our topic of the day, which is reviewing Wicked, which
Yeah.
we just saw again about, what was it, like a week ago now? Week and a
Yeah,
half?
exactly a week.
Um, and it was, I mean, Wicked's Wicked. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. But we do have thoughts about it that we wanted to talk about, especially while it's still fresh in our heads. So if you've been listening to our podcast the last couple of weeks, you probably heard our review about Water for Elephants and then Anne Juliet. But the way that we usually run our reviews is we've split it up into different categories that we discuss, and then we rate each category on a 1 to 10 scale, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. And then we add up our scores to get our final total out of 10 of what we would rate the show. We figure out the average. So, starting off, we always chat a little bit about a summary of what the show is about. I'm sure
Mhm.
most of you out there know what Wicked is about, but if you don't, it is a story about the main witches of Oz, the Wicked Witch of the East. Glinda the Good, the Wicked Witch of the West as well. And it just kind of tells their story from like college
Yeah,
age.
how they met.
Yeah. It talks about like how they met at school and they were originally friends and the people that you think are evil are not evil and
Mm,
it's a whole little twist and turns, but you also kind of find out the origin story of like the lion, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow. Like it helps.
yeah.
It's really just a prequel to The Wizard of Oz, is the
Yeah,
way to put it.
definitely.
So the show, the focus is in on this girl called named Elphaba,
Mhm.
who eventually becomes the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah.
And it talks about really her story and why everyone views her as being a wicked witch
And
and
if
what
it,
leads
you
to
really
that,
should view
if you
her.
really should. But I don't want to spoil too much of
Yeah.
her personal story. Although there is the movie of Wicked is coming out already in a couple months.
Yeah, we wanted
Um,
to see Wicked again on Broadway before it came out because
yeah,
it was a while before we saw it
we
that
both
night with
thought it'd
her.
be important so that we can like
Yeah.
also compare and contrast like the movie version and the stage show
Yeah.
because I do think they're going to be very different in my
I
opinion.
definitely, definitely.
I mean, well, the biggest difference is that when we see the live show, it's a regular 2.5 hour show with a 15-minute intermission. The movie is being split into two separate movies. So, like,
Yeah.
the
That's
first
gonna be
half of the show
weird.
is the first half of the movie, and then the second movie is the second half of the show. So, I am sure they're going to be adding in a ton of new information.
Hmm. Definitely. And how they're gonna end is gonna be interesting because I think it's weird that I don't think Wicked really needs to be two movies, but you do you. But
Yeah.
the way they end the part one, I'm kind of curious as to how they're gonna do that.
I'm assuming that the end of part one is going to be the same way that the Broadway version ends, which is not a spoiler. Most people know this, but it ends
Yeah.
with the song Defying Gravity and she flies off and becomes the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's how it's going to end.
Yeah, I would hope so. So we'll see. I would definitely
Yeah.
hope so though, because that makes the most sense.
Yeah, I agree. And also just in case there's anyone out there who doesn't know Wicked, I don't just warning in advance that there will probably will be some spoilers.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's hard not to
Yeah, when we're
with
talking about the shows.
yeah, definitely.
So the categories that we're going to be ranking are costumes, set designs, songs and music, choreography, the book, ambience and crowd control, which is very important,
Yep.
casting choices, and then the acting and pacing. And also our honorary mention is always the theater bathroom.
Yeah, that's like it's the most important.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
I'm also thinking about the flea market. Like
mhm.
if I have to pee, where am I gonna pee? That's the one coming.
I have my secret bathroom that I always go to, which I'll take
Gotcha.
you to.
Thanks.
I think you know my secret bathroom.
Yeah, because I get like that was, and it's so stupid, but like that was what I was been thinking about all week. I was like, I want to make sure I'm drinking water, but like I'm gonna have to pee.
Go to a porta potty.
Oh, gross.
Well, I will say the bathrooms in the Gershwin were pretty nice, but they were hard to find.
Yeah, they were like hidden, but there's a lot of them, which I liked.
Yeah, a lot of stalls. There was a nice attendant, and I like that each stall like tells you if it's vacant or occupied. Like it has that little
Yeah.
signatory outside. But when we first walked in, Skylar was like, "I can't find the bathroom anywhere."
Yeah, we were like walking around and you were like, maybe it's in that corner. And I was like, all right, let me go check. You go get your snacks. I'm gonna go check. I gotta pee.
Yeah. This is completely off topic, but Skylar and I have such a routine when we go to these shows.
Yeah.
Either we do the routine together or we like separate. So the routine is always go to the bathroom, let it out, then get go get like a water bottle if we, unless we brought some with us. And I always go look at the concession stands for a good Kit Kat bar.
Yeah, Kit Kats. But they didn't have any Kit Kats.
They didn't
Rude.
have any Kit Kats. That
And
pissed me off. Instead, I got Oreos and
yeah.
Pringles, which I mean, like they're good, but it's not a Kit Kat.
And Book of Mormon didn't have it. Remember, I went up to the guy, I was like, "Where's the Kit Kats?" He did not find it funny.
They just looked at us like we were crazy.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so new ranking every week. Do they have Kit Kats?
Yes or no? That was a no. But and then sometimes we'll browse the merch, but like at Wicked, it was crazy expensive.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
It was astronomical pricing, and we were just like, we can't afford to do this. I'd rather save
E-
that money and put it towards seeing another show.
Exactly. So we didn't buy anything, which
Like
is
I feel like Wicked knows that they're Wicked and that they can overcharge because people will still go, and I just
yeah.
don't like that.
Yeah.
Like, don't take
We don't
advantage of
support
people.
don't
No.
support that.
Um, so I guess starting off with costumes.
Okay. I mean, it's Wicked. That's the problem. The costumes are great. I mean, like they're iconic. They're beautiful. They're
They're beautifully crafted. Like I mean, like so Skylar and I sat pretty close. We had like what do we say, fifth row?
yeah, fifth
Third row,
row.
whatever it was.
Yeah.
We were close.
Yeah.
So you could really see the details of each costume. And I mean, some of them were absolutely stunning. Like Linda's
Hmm.
costume with the way that the overlay of the skirt and the different sequins
Yeah.
to like for each layer and Elphaba's costume even in the second half of the show was so detailed, her iconic black dress and like my favorite part of the show is always the costumes from Oz. When they do
Yeah.
One Short Day in the Emerald City.
Hmm.
Um, those costumes, like each one is so different and so unique.
Yeah.
And the all costumes themselves now have become iconic. Like the part of One Short Day where the guy comes out in the ribbon costume and he does the ribbon dance at the beginning of the number.
Hmm.
Like there are certain costumes from Wicked that because the show is so old at this point, like you recognize instantly. Like, oh, there's
Yeah.
that costume. Or like even the way the Flying Monkeys costume is done so well crafted with like the wings coming out at the back. Like there are some really cool costumes in the
Yeah.
show.
Even like where we were sitting, we were by like the steps over in the corner. So when Glinda went up, you just saw the sparkles coming down off of her.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool too, because it really gives the effect of her as like the good witch or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so that was cool. Her costume is beautiful. I don't know how they get into it, like the costume, and wear it the whole time though.
Oh, I'm sure
Like
it's
the
very
big one,
heavy.
right?
I think
Even when
I remember
she's,
seeing an interview once. I think it's like 50 pounds. I
oh
remember
my God.
it's maybe 50 is not is too extreme, but I remember reading on like seeing an article where it's like it's very heavy and each sequin is hand sewn into
Yeah,
those
that's
costumes.
crazy. That's crazy because it is, even when she's in the bubble, like that costume, the blue one, like how did they do that? It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, Wicked is Wicked. It's iconic. The costumes are beautifully done. They're original based on each character. So I would rate it probably like an 8.
Okay, I think that's a fair rating. I think for me, I'm gonna give the costumes a 10. I really don't see a
Yeah.
fault like with the costumes. Like even the way they do the Tin Man's costume and like
How did he
Scarecrow,
do
like
that, by the way?
the quick change.
Yeah, I was like, I did not. I wanted to watch
I
closer.
was trying to take a look because like I
Yeah.
mean I don't want to spoil like I mean well we already said there could be spoilers, but I think that they switch places behind the wardrobe. I think
Oh, that makes
and
sense.
because if you think about it, he runs off so quickly. I think it's a different
Yeah.
person, and then he comes
Hmm.
back later on as Tin Man.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Um,
Even Nessa's costume was cool. It really captured how she started out in like almost like an innocent dress, like whatever, and then she
she
turned
becomes
into that.
evil.
Yeah.
I always wonder like why. You know, it's interesting. So, like, out of the two sisters, because obviously, like, the truth of the story really is, and I think most people out there know that, is that Elphaba, who's the Wicked Witch of the West, was never really evil. So I find
Yeah.
it interesting that it's really her sister that
Yeah, and like I
really
forgot
is.
about that because I
Yeah,
saw Wicked like almost 10 years before we saw it this
yeah,
last week, and I forgot a lot of it. Like, and I forgot
yeah.
that that even happened.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, it makes sense that that happened because if you think about Wizard of Oz, that's why the Munchkins are all celebrating that the witch is
he's
dead. It's
dead.
because she
Yeah,
tortured them all.
yeah,
And I was thinking about it. I was like, where's Bach during that scene? But now knowing what happens with Bach, it makes sense.
yeah.
But
Crazy.
so moving on to the set designs, I have thoughts. I
I have thoughts.
yeah, I literally just put my pen up and I was like, I have
I have
thoughts.
thoughts.
I mean, the dragon is so cool on top of the stage, the way it moves. Is it necessary? No, because I don't completely understand why the dragon has to do with the story. I know it's supposed to be like this clock tower dragon that's in the book, because I did read part of the book. I never got through the whole thing.
Yeah.
But also, I don't feel like the sets were necessarily designed with audience viewing in mind because
Hmm.
we were off towards like the left side, and there were moments of the show that Skylar and I just could not see because
Yeah,
of the
what
way that
was the
the clock
part?
pieces are around the outer
Yeah.
frame.
It was the house, right? We didn't see
Yeah,
any of it. I was like, I
we saw
looked at Michelle, I was like, is the
nothing,
house back there?
and I was
And she's
like, I
like, I
can't
think so.
tell. Yeah, so the way we were seeing was the Skylar was on the aisle and I was like one seat in and like neither of
Mhm.
us could see anything.
So we missed that. So we don't even know. We just assume it was the house falling on Nessa.
Hmm
Oh, that was an extreme spoiler. Wow, sorry. Um,
Wait, it's not a spoiler because everyone knows that she's the Wicked Witch of the East. I mean, she's the sister of Elphaba.
okay, okay, okay.
I mean,
Good.
that's literally Wizard of Oz. There's no spoiler there.
Okay, no spoiler. So we missed that, but I would say like the sides of the stage with all like the what it like it almost looks like tree bark almost.
Yeah,
How that is beautiful. Like the way
beautifully
they did
crafted.
the yeah, so that was awesome. Although like as we're talking about it, there isn't really any set piece that I'm like, oh my God. Like I feel like at and Juliet we had a lot to talk about.
Mhm.
But this one I'm like it was
It was
kind of
okay.
it was all right. It wasn't like wow, like this is amazing. The dinosaur, I must said. The dragon moved a lot more than I realized, which I thought was weird. Um,
Yeah.
and like you said, I don't know how, I guess because of the book, which I like that they give a shout out to the book, but again, like it doesn't really like add anything.
The only set piece that I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool is like obviously the wizard with the way they do the wizard head.
Yeah,
Um, but even like Glinda's bubble is a little
it's
disappointing.
boring.
Like,
Yeah.
I almost feel like they need to update it to today's day and age because the show was created like over 20 years ago.
No, I
So
agree. I
it's
think
literally their
that's
20th anniversary year, I think. And like, there's definitely new ways they could do the bubble.
I agree. I think that's a lot of my issue with it is I wasn't like, wow, wicked after. And I think
Yeah,
because they haven't updated it. Like when I
it
first
needs
saw it, I was like,
updating.
oh my God, it's wicked. Like this was amazing. This time I was like, they should have like changed some things or maybe like
Yeah.
updated it so you still get that wow factor, but now it's like in this day and age.
100%. It needs to keep up with the times and it needs to keep
Yeah.
up with the other shows. Like there's the scene, I'm Not That Girl. It's supposed to be raining out, but it's like you
Yeah.
just hear the water, but like then you think, oh, I just saw Outsiders where they're literally doing an entire fight in the rain. Or The Notebook, they
Yeah.
have rain on stage as well.
Yeah.
Certain parts of the set design now almost feel like outdated. But what's interesting in contrast is I feel like the costumes are very timeless. But
Yeah.
I feel like because they're supposed to be like Aussie in costumes, very
Hmm.
extravagant, and they are. But the sets are disappointing.
Yeah. So that's where I'm like, I think I'm gonna give it like a 6.
Okay. I was actually thinking about giving it a 5. I feel very in the
Mm,
middle about it.
yeah, I think that's fair.
Moving
Definitely
moving on to songs and music.
wicked.
Wicked.
The songs still are great. Like I think they really help
Yeah.
with the story. Um,
Yeah. Each song is very memorable. You leave singing the music. I mean, Defying Gravity, I think, is one of the most iconic songs in all of Broadway
yeah.
now. But even like For Good, I
Oh my
cried
God.
really hard
Yeah.
during that song. That song's always meant a lot to me. And it's like if
Hmm.
you think through the lyrics the whole time, like they're just so beautiful about having this lifelong friend and like you'll always be
Yeah.
with each other, even like family, like it got me
Yeah, for good is
emotional.
always great. And it really, you can relate it right back to your friendships.
Yeah.
Um, so that's iconic. Even like As Long As You're Mine, I love that. I think
Yeah.
that was great. And the guy who played Fiyero did an incredible job with that song.
Oh, he
Um,
was fantastic. And we'll get into that when we talk about like casting
yeah.
and acting, but he was outstanding.
So
Out,
like
out, out
which
of the main three, he was my standout.
100% I agree with that. That's yeah. So the songs, yeah, they all kind of help with the story. I don't think there was a song where I was like, so I would give it a 9.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think I'm gonna do the same.
Yeah.
Choreography. All the choreography is done by Wayne Salento, who is an incredible dancer and performer. I've always loved his choreography.
Hmm.
So I mean, I always thought it was beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
but at the same time, there isn't like if you think about the Wicked choreography, like there isn't too much in it. The big numbers are dancing through life in one short day with the most
Yeah.
choreography.
I was gonna say nothing really stood out to me. It
Hmm.
was kind of just like it was just kind of a part of it. Like if that makes sense. Like when I'm thinking back now, I'm not
Yeah.
like, oh, this was cool. This was cool. It's kind of just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, again, is it keeping up with the times? Is it
I don't
becoming timeless?
Yeah, that's my thing is I don't know if it really was. 'Cause like I don't know, when we saw the Wiz, their choreography, I was like, woo! I was like, dang.
It was great.
Yeah. And I know it's like a different show, like it's a different type of music, it's all that. But like this, I was like, okay, like cool, but not like I can't sit here and talk about it with you because I'm like not like wow.
Yeah. I mean, I thought there were some moments, like I think One Short Day is always beautiful. I mean, Dancing Through Life, I always love that dance pick when it first starts with the da 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 and they do the big
Yeah.
transition to the ball. I always have loved how that was choreographed. But
Yeah.
there aren't like other moments where it's like, whoa.
Yeah, that's my issue. That's my major issue. So like I would probably rate it again like a 6.
Hmm. I think for me, I would give it like a 7.
Hmm. That's fair.
I do love some of the things that were done with the choreography. Like I love how like it's supposed to look very mystical and magical. Like even with the arm movements during like the Dancing Through Life scene where Glinda and Elphaba start becoming friends. Like it's
Yeah.
supposed to be very like moving. And I
Hmm.
did get very moved at that part. Like it's but I don't know. I agree with you. I don't think it's keeping up with the times well.
Yeah, that's a
Um
problem.
the book itself.
Mm.
Thoughts on the book? Thoughts
I
on the
mean,
story?
I definitely think it's stayed true. Like it's the same, like telling the story is good. I mean, I don't have any issues. Has it kept with the time? I would say yeah, because like it's the
Hmm.
story of it. They're not using like Book of Mormon used phrases from like whenever it came out. What was it like 2010 or
Yeah.
earlier than that? So that was a problem because it uses like old phrases. This never did that. So I think it really helped with the story and the book was I think it was good. I don't know.
I agree. I feel like the book is timeless.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say the book itself has always stood out to me with the show because I always loved how it explained why Wizard of Oz happened, and I always loved how the second act of the show takes place the same time as Wizard of Oz. Like here on this side we have Wizard of Oz going on, but here's really what happened behind the
Yeah.
scenes. And I always
That's
loved
cool.
that part of like seeing like, oh, that makes this make more sense, or that makes this all make more sense. And listen, I don't know if Wicked is technically canon for the Wizard of Oz universe. Like I feel like at this point it should be because it's been around so
Yeah.
long. Um, but I have always enjoyed the actual like book of the show, and I do think, I mean, it's also hard to rank this because we've seen the show before, we knew the story. But like there
Yeah.
are some very big twists and turns that are like announced in the second half of the show that you did not expect and you did not see coming, which makes things make more sense also. And I do feel like if it was my first time seeing that, I would have been like, oh wow.
Yeah. And I
Um,
liked how it started out with Glinda, um, where they're asking if she was her friend. And it was
mm,
kind of like the future Glinda, and now she's thinking back as when they were friends. So it's like a little
yeah,
glimpse of the future, and then how it ends is it they're back in that she's in that same
yeah.
costume in that bubble,
It
the
closes
same thing.
well.
Yeah. So I think
I'm
they do a great job with that.
I wonder if the movie is going to be the same, if it's going to be her like reflecting back. I kind of hope it is.
I hope so. I think they have to kind of stay true to Wicked, at least a
Yeah.
little bit. But yeah, I think they do good with the book. I don't have no
Yeah.
notes on
Like,
it.
my concern is like with the Wicked trailer, you've seen clips of like Elphaba as like a kid. Like it's
Oh,
in the
really?
trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I'm
yeah.
almost afraid if it's gonna start that way instead of the reflecting back because the Wicked book is not a reflection back. It starts with her as a kid. And I
Mm,
remember when I was reading the book, that was kind of one of the reasons I couldn't really get into it because I was just thinking in my head, like, can we get to the good stuff already? Like, it was just dragging on. And I'm afraid they're going
mm,
to do that in the movie.
yeah, that should be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see the difference, and I think that should be a whole podcast once we see
I
part
agree.
one and kind of talk about it and how it reflects back to Broadway. I feel like they have to stay true to it, and if they don't, then a lot of people are gonna be upset. So I wonder how they
I think so
do.
too.
Yeah,
So what do you rate the book?
I would rate it a 9. I don't have
Okay.
notes really.
I think that's fair. I think for me, I would give it a 10. I'm going based off of if this was my first time, how would I have viewed the book?
Mm,
And
yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like I remember my first time seeing Wicked and there were parts of the show where I was just like, holy shit. Like this
Yeah.
is crazy. Um, so moving on to ambiance slash crowd control.
So I
This is
like when, yeah, no, you go.
no, I was just saying like this is more so just kind of like explaining what it's like being in the audience. Did the ushers do a
Mm,
good job? Stuff like that, just so all of you out there kind of know what we're referring to with this topic.
yeah, and if people are like recording on their phones, stuff like that, it really makes a difference, we've realized. If people are the people around you and if the ushers are kind of active or not,
Yeah.
it's really made a huge difference. Um, I like when you walk in, it was like almost bright in there, I would say,
Hmm.
which I thought was interesting. And I like how, I mean, the Gershwin Theater is beautiful, and they have the
Yeah.
map of Oz when you go up the escalator,
Yeah, it's like as soon as
and
you walk in, you're transported to Oz.
yeah, which I think is really awesome. And we always talk about that because it brings you right into the story. Like I was
Yeah.
ready.
And all around the
Um,
theater, they have like little set designs, like original set designs from the show. They have like
yeah,
costume pieces. They actually do a backstage tour. I believe it was called Behind the Emerald Curtain. It's something like that. I had done it years ago where they walk you through all of these historical items. I actually
that's
think
cool.
if they're still offering the tour, I think the two of us should do it together because I think you would learn a lot from it and I think you'll enjoy
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so I do feel like they have the ambiance down, but the crowd control, once we got seated, it's like you didn't see those ushers anywhere.
I don't
And
remember them. Yeah.
yeah, I don't even remember seeing any. And what also bothered me with the crowd control, there was a family in front of us. It was very sweet, but the little girls like came in wearing like actual witch hats and no one told them to take it off.
Yeah, that was one thing. Like, as a parent, if I did that, I'd be like, okay, once we sit down, like, let me take a picture, and once we sit down, you can take it off. Um, I also think a major thing where we sat towards the doors. Like, we were the
Oh
aisle towards the
yeah.
door. So during intermission, we typically don't get up during intermission. Like, we'll stand up, but we don't go do things. We kind of just sit and discuss. And people from our row were going, so we stood up for them. And then other aisles, like the center section, which they could have walked the other way. I don't know why they took advantage of us,
Yeah, like there was a
but
center aisle.
yeah, they started to come towards us. And we were like, what the heck is going on? There's like 50 people coming through our aisle. And normally, if you're at Broadway, it's like what, like a 10-person aisle, maybe more.
Hmm.
But like you don't stand up for that long. You just let a few people and then you sit down. And they were
Yeah.
just coming and like not even like nicely. They were pushing their way
They were
through our
pushing us,
aisle.
and they like my bag was in I didn't even get a chance to like move my bag aside, and then one of the guys completely stepped on my foot. Like
Yeah.
they just didn't care. Like I like literally screamed. It hurt so bad. Skylar gave me
Yeah.
a look like what just
I didn't know what
happened?
happened. I was like, do I have to fight someone right now? I was like, what just happened?
Skylar went
Um,
on the attack mode.
I was like, what? But it really made me angry because
It was
that
disrespectful.
it was like and pushing. Like we couldn't even stand up quick enough. That's how fast they were coming through. And I was like, what is going on right now? And I
Yeah.
literally said to the people, and I was like, one time I was like, all right, that's enough. And we sat down. I was like, go the other way. Like this is crazy.
But yeah, like there were other open aisles, but they all just started coming down our row.
The
I think
aisle in
because our
front,
row was like kind of near the bathroom and they ran and it was like,
but the
leave
row
us
in front of
alone.
us was empty.
It was empty and they still kept coming in our row.
So that's why I was like,
And
we're sitting
it
down.
was just like weird. Like people were coming literally from the center, or we were on left orchestra. There were people coming from center orchestra through our
Yep.
aisle to like run to the bathroom.
It was
And it was
terrible.
like it really bothered both of us. So for
Yeah.
ambiance crowd control, I mean I think ambiance they did a great job, but crowd control I don't think they did a good job at all.
No,
Like if I
I
could
would,
rate crowd control by itself, I would give it a 0. But I feel like if because it's a combined topic, I think for me, I would maybe give it like a 4.
yeah, I would give it the same.
Okay.
That really annoyed me. And I was like, trying to not be annoyed, but I was like, if they come back our way, like, I'm not getting up. Like, I'm telling them to go around. Like, this
Yeah.
is crazy.
There was a whole open aisle. It didn't make sense why they needed to go through us. And my foot really hurt. Like I got bruised.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Like, they were, okay,
They were
it's one thing
animals.
if you walk through nicely. Like, if you're nice about it and you're like, oh, so sorry. Like, we do that. If we're getting up, I'm like, oh, so sorry. Like, thank you. But they literally were pushing through, and that made me mad. Like, we're humans here. Don't push us. Don't step on our bags. Like, that's rude.
And you know what
Rude.
also kept bothering me, even before the show started? Like, normally if you're like a center aisle or even left orchestra, but like you're the aisle seat
Oh my God,
towards
yeah.
the like inner corner, like you'll go
Hmm.
to that side to walk in. But they were coming through us on the very edge and walking through past 10 seats of people already seated to get to the center. It didn't make sense. Like, just walk an extra 1 minute around
Yeah.
and you could sit immediately down without bothering a single person.
Like the people, we were on one side of the aisle, and then in our row, the other side of the aisle, they came through our way to walk. And I was like, there's no way. I was like, they just walked through us to go all the way down there when they could have just went around. Like, this is crazy.
I've never seen something more stupid.
Right? It made no sense. So yeah, that annoyed me. So
Um,
four.
so next is casting choices. Um, I have thoughts about this. I loved the casting for Fiero. We saw
I
Jordan Litt. I
agree.
think it's Jordan Litz, right? Is that how you pronounce it? Or is
Yeah.
it Lintz? Jordan Litz. He was the best Fiero I've ever seen. Like, if I could say this is
Yeah.
Fiero, that is Fiero.
Yeah, he did a great job. Like amazing. He captured Fiero's like what's the word? Like not stuck up, but like
Ego?
in the beginning. Yeah, we're egotistic in the beginning and then you kind of see him soften up a little bit and then,
It was done so beautifully. And like you even could see on his face is like how much he was falling in love. And like
yeah.
his facial expressions were just so spot on. And I mean, I'll be honest, he was also very pleasant looking on the eyes. Me and Skylar were having a fun time.
Yeah, as long as you're mine, he was incredible.
If I could say this is Fiero,
That's
that
what I
is
picture.
Fiero.
Yeah, when you think of Fiero, like he is exactly what you would picture. Like
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, and his voice was stunning.
It really was. It was
Like it was
great.
it was the best I've ever heard Dancing Through Life sung.
Yeah. Like he's somebody who's gonna stay in my brain as Fiyero. Like I'll remember his name because I don't even
Yeah.
remember the Fiyero I saw in high
Me
school.
neither. I don't remember. Well, so our last two categories are usually casting choices and then acting and pacing, but we always kind of talk about these in like combo.
Unison, yeah.
So casting choice wise, 10 out of 10 for Fierro specifically. Acting as
Yeah.
well. I thought he was great. But I do have thoughts about Alphaba and
Yeah.
Glinda.
Yeah, so starting with Alphaba,
We
so
saw an understudy.
yeah, we
Um,
saw
I could look up. We saw Alyssa de Guzman.
hmm
And then
um
for Glinda, we saw Alexandra Sosha.
yeah, which was weird is they didn't have any slips in the playbills saying we were seeing an understudy. I thought that
I
was weird.
I feel like let me look up her official title. Is it Standby? It's Elphaba
Uh,
Standby. I think when it's a standby, sometimes they don't put it in the playbill.
okay. Because that was weird to me.
Yeah.
Um, the issue I had was after, so I'm the type of person is when you sing a song, I want to feel it. If I
Mhm.
don't feel it, then I'm gonna be like, So when she would sing like The Wizard and I was like so excited because I love that song. But after that, I was like, like I
I
didn't.
didn't get moved by it.
Yeah, and it was just some of her acting choices too were kind of like iffy. There were some points where I was like, why would you do that instead of, or why would you say it like that?
Yeah,
Because it
there
didn't
was
make sense for the story.
yeah, there was a lot of like weird pronunciations on her end.
Yeah,
I think I would say between Elphaba and Glinda, I liked Alexandra as Glinda better than I liked Lissa as
yeah.
Elphaba. Her Glinda, it was very like she had her snarky moments, and she did have a few like moments in there, especially during Popular, where I had like a good laugh.
hmm
Um, but at the same time, I almost didn't get enough of the feminine feeling for her that you need with Glinda.
Or like the wow factor.
Yeah, like it kind of she kind of blended in, which I feel bad saying.
Yeah, I felt
Um,
that was a problem with seeing them as Alphaba and Galinda is I feel like I didn't get the wow of like, oh my God, that you need.
yeah.
And even like some of Alphaba's facial expressions were kind of weird to me. Um, it was almost like when she was singing "As Long as You're Mine," the way she was looking at him, I didn't feel that
I
love.
agree. And I also felt like the two of them in particular were like
Awkward.
rushing and
Yeah,
awkward.
I agree. Um,
Like I didn't believe that they were best friends. And
yeah,
that's like one of the biggest parts of the entire show.
I
It's like if
agree.
not the most important part.
Yeah, so that was a problem. I also want to say, and this is my opinion, don't get mad, but the ensemble, they were too old.
I agree.
It took me out of the story a lot of the times, especially when they were at Shiz and like in
Yeah.
college, too old.
Way too like Linda's two best friends, like you could tell they had to have been at least 15 years her senior. And
Yeah.
it didn't make sense to me at all. I thought like Bach was the perfect age for Bach.
Yes,
He was like the
100%.
only person I thought was like the right age.
Yeah. I just felt like it was a little, the cast needs to be updated. There's amazing young actors that I would love to be in Wicked. And I think if they bring that new energy too, because I feel like
It needs
even like
it.
one short day, I wasn't like, oh my God, like this is wow. I felt like the energy was so low and you need that.
They
So
seem
that was my
tired.
major thing. Yeah, they seemed exhausted, which I don't blame them. It's exhausting, but I
Yeah,
think they need to revamp it a bit.
I agree. I think the show needs a big revamping. The two characters I will say that also stood out to me that I really enjoyed. I loved Donna McKechnie as Madame Morrible. I thought she did
Yes,
a great job.
yes,
And I also thought Bert Oscar was the perfect Wizard of Oz.
yes. I agree. That casting, 10 out of 10. That and
Yeah.
Fiero, 10 out of 10. The
Yeah.
rest, I'm like,
Iffy.
I
Very iffy.
because it didn't. I wanted to. We saw Wicked because we had a rough week and we wanted to see something that like a true musical, like a nostalgic
Hmm.
musical. We left there feeling like, uh, I don't feel what I thought I was gonna feel. And I think
Yeah.
a lot of it had to do with casting.
Like for both of us, we've always loved Wicked. It's always been like
Yeah.
on our top of our list. And I think we both assumed we would leave feeling so uplifted and excited for the week ahead. And like we just needed it. And it just, we left disappointed. And I feel like you shouldn't leave Wicked like that. Like the part of Wicked that we were the most excited about was Fiyero.
Yeah, we were unwell during, let's be honest. As long as you rewind, I was hitting Michelle like, oh my God, rewind. Round two, please.
Yeah, that was a great moment.
That's what we kept saying. And again, like the ensemble, they probably have been doing it for years. Like amazing. Like they're doing great. But like I think it's time because it really like it took
Yeah.
me out of it. I was like, they're not in college. Come on. Like,
Yeah. And also I don't think those actresses would be friends with Glinda.
no.
Like I
No.
don't think Glinda, well, actually, the better way to put it, I don't think Glinda would be friends with them
Yeah.
if you were really thinking about Glinda.
Yeah. So I would rate it probably a
For what?
6.
For casting choices?
Yeah.
Um, I would do the same. I think that's fair for casting choices. What about acting?
I'm gonna stay with 6.
Okay. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go 7, only because I really liked Don McKechnie, Burt Oscar, and Jordan Litz. So that's really all of the categories that we usually discuss. So now what we're going to do, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to add up the totals and figure out the average out of 10 of what we would each rate the show. And I do feel like usually our ratings align, but I think this week it's going to be different.
Yeah, we had a little differences in our numbers.
Yeah, so let's see. I'm going to start adding it up. But Skylar, do you have any other thoughts, like while I work on adding this all together?
Yeah, I guess I could just talk. So Wicked. Wicked is wicked. I think that was the major thing going in is we went for the nostalgia, but left kind of feeling iffy. And that was a little upsetting. But do I regret going? No. It was still iconic.
I don't either. I feel like we still needed that together, and I really wanted us to see it before the
Yeah.
movie.
So definitely want to see that. Also, let's talk about lotteries that we're entering. We're still entering Mulan. We keep losing. We entered Hadestown, and we were entering Cabaret. We keep losing. On Telecharge, we keep losing for McNeil. Um, the Roommate has a lottery now, which I would see it just for the lottery, but I don't know if it's like on one of my top shows.
Yeah, I don't think I would want to just like buy tickets to see that.
Yeah, I would only go for it if we won lottery.
Oh, that actually
Um,
reminds me something we should mention. We when we went the day we saw Wicked, there was a
oh
weird
yeah.
thing going on with the roommate.
Well, we were walking down Schubert Alley, and I was like, why is there a bunch of people? Like, are we missing something? And then I kind of got excited. I was like, oh, there's something cool going on. Like, let's go. No, day of, I would say like a half hour before the show was about to start, they canceled the roommate. So all the people were there to see the show, and they were getting like QR codes to get a refund. And she canceled, literally.
Yeah, it was
Insane.
crazy. There was a huge crowd in front of the theater, and we were just like, let's get out of here.
Yeah. At first we are like, oh, it's something cool. No, not cool.
Not cool
Cancellation.
at all. We thought we were missing out on like a contest or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have our final tallies. We do differ
Yay.
a little bit. Not tremendously, but a little bit.
A little bit.
So Skylar's ranking for Wicked, her average out of 10 is a 6.75.
Oh, wow.
Lower,
Dang.
lower than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, me too.
Mine is a 7.25 out of 10.
Wow.
Also lower than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. But we were extremely fair. We
But
were
you know what's
fair.
interesting? I'm looking at like our Anne Juliet ratings. We had the same final score. Like we rated that at 8.87 out of 10. So we both
Yeah.
thought Wicked was overall worse than Anne Juliet, which is crazy because Wicked is
Yeah.
the longer running show.
So I think the major issue with Wicked is that it didn't really keep up with the time, and that's our was the reason why it took us out of the story a lot.
I agree. I think when we were younger, like we viewed it differently, and now that we're
Yeah.
older and like I mean, especially for you, it's been 10 years. 10 years makes a difference on a show.
Yeah.
And like, it's interesting. It's always been like one of my top three musicals, but I feel like with this rating, I can't keep it at that.
I know. That's what I agree. But I'm also like curious because I loved Wicked. I don't not love it. Like I know my rating isn't great, but I wonder if I saw Les Mis now, how I'd feel. If it would still be number one. Because I haven't seen it in a
Hmm.
bit too. I haven't seen it since high school.
You know what I think we should do one day? Just off topic, I think we should pick a day to watch the Les Mis movie together. I haven't seen it in a long time, and I struggled the first time I watched it.
A
But I know
little
Les Mis
bit.
is really important to you, and I did not like it. So I'm curious for us to
Yeah.
watch it and maybe do a review of the movie instead of reviewing a Broadway
Yeah.
show, review a movie version.
And then what's your top one? Because then we could do it for you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, mine is Hairspray. I actually just watched Hairspray again last night, the
Love
movie
it.
version. Ugh, I'm
Love it.
sorry. Zac Efron as Link Larkin will always have my teenage heart.
Literally iconic. But that's a great
But
idea. We should do that.
yeah, I think
Cool.
that'll be fun. So if you guys like that idea too, let us know and we'll start reviewing some movie musicals.
Yeah, definitely. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok.
Yes,
Um,
on Instagram at Love Letters to Broadway with two Y's because one Y wasn't available, and I say it
yep.
on every podcast. And then on TikTok at Love Letters to Broadway with one Y. We also can be reached for business inquiries at loveletterstobroadway@gmail.com if
Yes,
anyone out there wants
please.
to reach out.
Um,
Um,
it's important to follow us on Instagram because we do like questions and polls and stuff like that. And we do some funny memes. So
yeah.
definitely check us out.
Yeah, on Instagram, we're definitely more interactive with you, the audience, than we
Yeah.
are through TikTok. So please follow us on there. Like we even just this week we posted a poll like what is something you want us to discuss in a future podcast.
Yeah,
So you'll get a say in what we do. So please
definitely.
follow us on there and on TikTok. So let's see if we could do this again. We mess it up every week.
Oh dear God. Okay, ready?
Here we go.
We got this. We're
We're signing
signing
off
off on
on our
our
sixth
sixth love
love.
letter to Broadway.
I messed it up. It was me this week.
Oh no. Okay. Well,
It's
thank you guys
okay.
for listening. My name is Skylar again.
And I'm Michelle again. Thank you guys for listening, and we are signing off.
We'll see you
Have a
next
good
week.
week.
Bye.
Bye.